So this is a pump my dad gave me. He bought it back in 1972 when he lived in Edmonton to do gold sluicing on the North Saskatchewan River. It was illegal back then, according to my dad. But whatever, he did it anyways, and he got a little bit of flour gold. He used it once, allegedly. I don't know how he did, because he never had any fittings in pumps, so I'm guessing he probably never did. He probably bought it and just stored it for all these years. But supposedly he made a sluice box out of plywood or something like that, so I don't know. With the amount of gold that he had, you could have panned for that much. But because I live in a flat land here, and nothing drains properly, and I live next to a provincial road, which means highway in Manitoba. Our highways department doesn't do any maintenance. Sorry, it's freaking windy here. And anyway, they don't do any maintenance, so you get some places the ditches are deeper than others because they never surveyed anything, and then other people, they just put their culverts in helter-skelter. It's very typical of Manitoba, and I'm sure most of Saskatchewan is the same way. So anyway, I'm stuck here pumping. I brought this out. It's kind of a pain to get it going. The carburetor design on these old ones is that it drafts the gasoline from the fuel tank underneath the carburetor. So it's always really hard to get it going. It's very simple, but it's a pain in the butt. So I had some fun trying to get it going. So the trick usually is you take the air cleaner off the top. That's that funny shaped thing there. Take the air cleaner off, you pour a little bit of gasoline down there, full choke, and with the spark plug thing off, like, so that's not touching the spark plug, because that just grounds it out and turns off the motor. And then you try firing it, and it usually takes a few times. Sometimes you get on the first time, but very seldom. And with these pumps, they don't have a check valve in them, so you also have to have like a foot valve on your intake, and then you start it. I think I'm running out of water here. Strainers. Okay. Yeah, there we go. That's as good as it gets. Ow. Thank God for rubber boots so you don't get such a bad shock. So anyway, so it's very simple, easy to work on. I think maybe it's mostly the gasoline we have these days, because last time I went to get gas, they told me that even premium has ethanol in it here in Canada, which is supposed to be 91 octane or some horse shit like that. So that's what you get with the Trudeau government, or any of these stupid federal government idiots. So anyway, I've just been trying to pump this down. I was using a 7 horsepower high pressure pump, kind of a semi firefighting pump. Actually worked really good because this puddle went all the way out over there, so I had lots of water to pump. So now I didn't have as much. I bring this little guy out. It's only 3 horsepower, and it turns a lot slower, but it also doesn't start pumping air right away. And anyway, so I just kind of want to do a little bit of video on this. I haven't really uploaded much lately, but I thought I'd show you guys this. So here's your muffler. It'll be hotter than hell right now. And so yeah, you would take this off, you pour a little bit of gasoline down there, and of course it usually spits some back out at you. This is the choke right here. Very simple. But yeah, you can, I'm gonna get maybe a friend of mine to weld a little washer in there so that it's easier to take off without a screwdriver. And so then that's the original air cleaner, because this was from 1972. It had all fallen apart, because this just sat under the stairs at my mom and dad's house for, well, probably 30 years before my brother and I dragged it out and bought some suction hose, and we just used sump pump hose for a while, but it would burst that in no time. So we just kind of made up our own stuff with money that we had. But this is the carburetor, so you'd pour your gas down there, full choke, and then try and start it. And then you've got adjustments there for your carburetor, which I might do some adjusting on in the next little while here. So for the most part, it's nice and simple, easy to work on. I'm not sure what the availability of parts is, and I'm not sure, like, I had this running for quite a while and it didn't pump the fuel tank completely clean. So I'm gonna have to take the fuel tank off, I think, and see what the pickup tube looks like, in case there's any crap in there too. So I gave it a few squirts of carb cleaner, but I don't think there's really any buildup, because like I said, it just sat, but it had no fuel in it. So I'm guessing my dad never did use it like he said he did. I have doubts that he ever did. Only bad thing about it, well, it doesn't make much pressure. It's maybe 25-30 psi, something like that. It's heavy as hell. This is all cast iron, and I'm assuming the impeller's cast iron too. So that kind of sucks, that part of it, but it moves water, and that's all I needed to do. My other pump, like I said, it's a little bit too fast, so then before you know it, you're sucking air sort of thing. And I didn't really feel like digging a sump pit because this was full of water before. So eventually I'm gonna maybe, if the highways department doesn't do anything about all these culverts being at different heights here, and my driveway gets so wet there, it doesn't look like it now, but it's really squishy. I might put weeping tile, like a French drain, underneath the driveway, trench that all in. And then I'm gonna probably put a, what do you call it, like a sump pit, maybe somewhere down just maybe 15-20 feet away from this oak tree, put it down about 4 or 5 feet, and then stick a sump pump down there, and then trench in a pipe that goes to the big drain in the back. And that way I can drain water from here without having to set up all these hoses and everything. And then it'll all be automatic. So that might be the plan. Because otherwise it's a mud pie in here all the time. It's friggin' annoying.